Yeah, I know. And I told Adon, I said, bro, you're gonna have to chill out or hey, we're on. Hello, welcome. We are the Wayward Inquisition. I am Chamberlain Jonas here on a quite nice Thursday. We've have finally been getting a nice stream of good weather here in Indiana. And it has a little woe to it because with spring comes allergens, and boy, are they allergenic this year. And it's only just begun. But my nose is clear for now. We'll see what happens. And I hope that you all are doing well and that life's treating you good. But as part of a fun collaboration between D&D streamers, which I have invited myself into because why not? But they have been doing kind of a Monster of the Week thing, and this recent one is the Fae. Like Pointy Hat, Runesmith, Jenny D, other people. Oh, Flamey, the GM. They've all been taking part in it, and it took my brain a while to be like, well, hey, why not me too? Not sure how many they've done since they've started doing it, but it's a fun little idea, and to see what each creator comes up with whatever they're talking about. I would say, their streams have been more concise. Maybe like one or two topics about the Fae. But as you all may or may not know, with the World Building Plus, I usually go for about 2 hours. And so I cannot talk about one thing for probably more than 10 minutes. So, gonna need a lot of content. So I'm just gonna go over the Fae kind of in general, maybe come up with some ideas for you to use, and just to spark the imagination of what possibilities lie within the Feywilds. But without further ado, let's get into it. So for starters, I have pulled up a quick synopsis of what the Feywilds are. So there is the mortal plane, which is where D&D happens. Mortal plane can be your own world. It can be, a module, what have you, and then surrounding it are these other planes of existence. There's the Feywilds, which is kind of like the happy, positive, nature-themed version of the mortal plane. And then you got Shadowfell, which is the negative side of it. Not every plane has that kind of counterbalance, but I just wanted to get that in there because, there's also like the elemental planes, fire, water, what have you. It's probably like a tapioca plane. And let's see. So, yeah, Feywilds are a plane of fairy is a parallel plane of existence to the material plane, the mortal plane. Yeah, so the Feywilds will mimic what the main world looks like, but just in a super positive, upbeat, festival kind of way. See, it is a realm of heightened emotions, magic, and vibrant nature. with sylvan creatures with variations on elves, dryads, satyrs, and, of course, the powerful archfey. Let's see. Yep, already covered the echo mirror part. Heightened. Yes, because it is another plane of existence, and just because the Fae are Fae and are basically just a whole world of tricksters, because it's all about fun, and what's more fun than playing a prank on somebody? So time works a little differently in the Fey Wilds, and it also doesn't. That's the beauty of it. It is ruled by two different factions. The Sealy Court, which is summer, that's going to be your fun, festive side. And then the Unseelie Court, which is winter, that's going to be your dark, your goth emo mommy side of things. Sorry, if you see me swatting around, there is a fly loose in the studio. I keep telling it that there's this wonderful blue light that it can go visit permanently, forever, but it doesn't seem to pick up the hint. Yeah, I'm talking about you. You know who you are. Get over there. And then, of course, amongst the Fae, there's the Archfey, which can be, really anything to the imagination. And that's what one of the Warlock packs falls under. And so the Fey Wilds is a pretty, wild place. One, it mimics the world that you're playing in. Doesn't have to, though. And two, it's often associated with dreams. It's almost like the land of dreams. So the thing I really like about the Fey Wilds is it gives the DM the freedom to just go nuts on whatever pops into their head, because it would be there. For instance, at one point, my guys in the Life Will campaign made their way into the Feywilds. Were traveling through your standard field of talking flowers that were both nice and, of course, what's the word? Horny. So as I walk through, some of them would get compliments of like, "Oh, hi, yes, your hair looks nice today," and the other ones would be like, "Yo, sexy, pull down those pants." That's the Fey Wilds. The best part was when they got to a clearing in this obnoxious flower field, they could see what looked to be like a modern, like our modern kind of city, and skyscrapers, roadways, very tiny people going about their day, little cars driving on the streets, and so the whole shtick was that one of them needed to get close, and of course one of them did. And as they got close, they could hear the tiny people scream and say something to the effect of what sounded like, Kadila! And then these tiny tanks started to roll in and shoot the player, and of course, being the ginormous thing that they are compared to the little city, the little tank shells just didn't do anything. And that they tried to interact with it like, "No, I'm your friend." And of course, when they talk to the people, it's this super loud booming voice, which just terrified them even more. And so they eventually backed away and then kind of continued on after discussing it for a little bit longer. And yeah, there was no resolution that needed to be had, no problems to solve, but the Feywilds gives you such freedom to just create little random encounters that go nowhere but are just so much fun. Now, the big question, besides what is the Feywild or where, the other thing is who are the Fey? Yeah, yeah. It gets a little weird on who is counted as Fey and who isn't. So being a very nature themed plane of existence, you got your kind of elemental people. You got the Eladrin, which are seasonal elves. They come in winter, summer, spring, fall, that sort of thing. And their appearance will match whatever season they are either attuned to or just how they're feeling that day. And where things start to get weird is like Harengon. Harengon, I believe, do count as Fae, or it mentions on their kind of racial biopsy. Let me pull it up here. Harengon. But I'm pretty sure in like the original version thing, it mentions, yeah, originated in the Feywilds. So it's like, yeah, so Harengon are Fey, but then Tabaxi aren't, and Leonins are not Fey, but they're animal people. And so it just it gets a little weird on who counts as Fey and who doesn't. I personally do not use any kind of bestial race as Fey. I just think that they are their own thing, and that the Fey can have the elemental people, plant-based people like flower knights, rose knights, that sort of thing. I think while they were in the Feywilds, I think they encountered like a sunflower guard that kind of escorted them around the city. Um, One thing I do throw into the Feywilds because they just seem to fit there better, like centaurs. I think they're more Fey creature because they're not full beast, anthropomorphic, like the Harengon, but they're also not fully human or whatever the upper half you could have it be. And that's where the Fae comes in, is you can kind of just mix and match things together and be like, yeah, this thing lives here because. So like centaurs, satyrs, my dude. Welcome in. We're talking Fae tonight. I know, it's already Thursday. I started my new job this week, and that was one of the things I noticed with it was how the days were going by faster again. Because when I was working the night shift for this hotel, I'd do a couple shifts and then be like, oh man, this week has been it's been pretty brutal, and then look at the calendar. It's only Monday. It's the worst. Ugh. But yeah, this new one's making time normal again. Also, it's not night shift, and that's been wonderful. Yeah, I just maybe I've gotten too old, but yeah, I cannot do night shift no more. At least not there. But we've talked about so far about where the Feywilds is, kind of what it is, kind of going over who lives there. Oh, well, thank y'all. And yeah, what counts as a Fey is open to interpretation, which is actually pretty fitting because it is the Feywilds, and you could have literally anything in there, both light and dark, which is where things also get interesting. Is for being a plane of existence that is kind of all about being a super hyped up positive version of the material mortal plane. It's interesting that there is the Unseelie Court and that there's like dark fae in there. But seeing as it does reflect the world, having a dark side makes a lot of sense. Let's see. If you're wondering, those viewing at home, I am on 5e Tools. It is a magnificent website, not a sponsor, but yeah, it really has just about everything you need for D&D. And yeah, it looks like we've gotten some new things added in. What book are you from, sir? Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting. Huh. Interesting. This is one reason why I am personally trying to steer away from D&D, because people just keep adding more books and stuff to it, and it's just getting to be a lot. I like simple. So I probably would not like the Feywilds because it is anything but simple. But I do like... Yeah, are you from that same book? Nope, you're from a whole other book. But yeah, it looks like they added in some new Fae, and I'm really digging this art style for... These are like high Fae kind of nobility people. I don't know how to describe this. They have tendrily shaped bodies and heads. So, like, take a fairy, but then where its hair would be, it's just like skin strips that kind of go, but they don't really, doesn't look like they would flow around. But yeah, it's very angular. I'm describing this very poorly, but that's also because I really don't know how to describe this, which is perfect because it's the Fae. Let's see. Runesmith talked about even though they fall under the undead category, he talked about Will of the Wisps because I mean, I agreed with them. They feel more fey than they do undead. And he kind of talked about the history of them, which was awesome. I am not studious enough to investigate creatures and like, oh yes, well, what inspired this thing? Where did this come from? Even though I do really enjoy lore like that, whether it's from the real life side, because he talked about how there's, I mean, pretty much in every culture there was some form of will of the wisp of, a glowing orb that would appear in the forests and kind of you would go to investigate and it would just be gone, which is pretty awesome. And also just shows that, I mean, for me personally, there's definitely more to our world than we've been taught. They like to put things like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster into like cryptids and like, oh yeah, there's these myths out there, just these fun little tales that we have, and hee hee hee. But no, they're real. Can't say I've had any Fey experiences. I've been haunted before. That was wild. That was a weird, interesting experience. Never been haunted before, but man, it was something. But yeah, since we've gone over kind of a general covering of the Fae, let's delve into some of the creatures here. Got the Fae list pulled up. And see, yeah, there's little penguin people. Why are you Fae? But then tabaxi and lizard folk, they're animals too. It's silliness. But oh yeah, so I'm gonna start at CR0 and kind of go up the list. One of my favorite Fae creatures, the Boggle. It's this little, short, impish dude with a big head. And he just looks like he would have the best little, uh, almost like a squeaky, gruff voice. If if that's, I mean, that's a thing. It has to be. What is your story, Boggle Man? Boggles are the little bogies of fairy tales. Wow, that didn't clarify anything. Okay, they lurk in the fringes of the Feywilds. Hide under bed and closets. Oh yeah, they definitely look like they're skulking stalker kind of little dudes. Yeah, waiting to frighten and bedevil folk with their mischief. Yeah, that's Fae. Yeah, where do they come from? This is what I always like learning is like the origin of creatures. So boggles are born out of feelings of loneliness. Yeah, like oh, what was it? Yeah, it's in the video games Fable. You fight uh basically little fey goblin like creatures called brownies, I think is what they called them. Something like that. Was it brownies? Huh. Anywho, so you start off the game and you're fighting these things, and it's not till like a just a good little bit in, not too long, but you've killed a decent amount of them. And you find this little info page that tells you about them. And it's like, yes, the brownies are made like they're not a race, so they don't populate on their own. They go out and they, steal kids, and then the children are converted into more brownies. And so then it hits you that you have just slain like 2 dozen of these things. And it's, oh, I killed children, apparently. Which actually fits a pretty Fey thing because, yeah, a lot of Fey tales involve them, stealing kids, changelings. They would steal somebody's kid, replace it with one of their own, but one that's kind of just imaged like the original. There's a there was a great movie I watched. Oh, what was it called? Maybe I can find it. Which also, if you have any Fae-themed kind of movie recommendations, yeah, send them my way in the chat. No. Oh man, what was that movie called? I think it was on Shudder, which is like a horror movie streaming service. I want to say it was called like The Neighbors, or it had like a simple name. Oh well. I'm not gonna waste too much time trying to find this, but it was the tale was about these people moving to this house, and out in the woods there's like this little hovel for for basically red caps, which have a pretty wild lore themselves. But they, instead of being like, at least D&D has them as little gnome people, and that's kind of just how they are, I think. But they have the big red caps on, and the original lore for them is, I'm pretty sure that's how they stay alive, is their cap is red from blood, and if it dries out, then they die. So they have to go out and kill who or whatever. But in this movie, the little red caps were basically these really tiny goblin guys, like green skin, and it was pretty entertaining. A little weird, but it's it's a movie and it's the Fae, so you can get away with a little weird. Anywho, I digressed, which happens a lot on this channel. And for those viewing at home, I know I'm talking about the Fae tonight, but if you are working on anything, feel free to run it by me. That's kind of how this Thursday night stream started, was to be a live assistant to your world building. If you're making a pantheon, trying to create a character. I am here for you to bounce ideas off of, and I will assist as best I can. But, anyways, back to Boggles. So, yes, where that whole little tangent spurred from, they are born out of loneliness that kind of formulates and materializes. Let's see, they engage in petty pranks. And yeah, the rest of that's all pretty standard stuff, I would say. And the great thing about fey creatures, which I need to implement this more in my stuff too, is I mean, they're just great for just random encounters as impromptu guides. Like maybe the party is looking for something and they're stumped. You can just have a fae appear to do whatever mischief and or whatnot, and then whenever they get caught or found out, the party can be like, hey, you're a magical being. We're trying to find XYZ, and they're like, oh, I can help if you let me go. That was my Boggle voice. Because, yeah, like the Brigandnock, love this little dude. It's actually kind of funny in a way when I'm really bad at making up my own stuff. I need a visual. And so like, yeah, there's this new sun snacker here under the Fae, and it's funny. It's like you would look at it and be like, yeah, that's a Fae creature. But I don't like it because I don't know, it's almost too colorful and fun, which is an odd thing to say about something that lives in the Feywilds. But yeah, like the sprites and pixies, they're fine. Darklings make sense because they're basically gray-skinned goblins, and goblins are fey creatures themselves. Hmm. Oh, yep, satyrs. Yeah, sorry about that little pause. I'm both thinking and doing all at the same time. Centaurs. Okay, yeah, they count as Fey. Good, good, good. Yeah, for my Life Will campaign, I kind of went through and made note of, especially for like the different planes of existence, like the Feywilds. It's like, okay, what lives there? Um, wow, I'm already drawing a blank of what else I can talk about. Hmm. Talked about my flower nights, which I say my, it's not like I came up with that. I think I had seen something about like a Rose Knight and was like, "Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, of course the Feywilds would have like flower people." I don't know how you all run your Feywilds, but what I like to do is that the inhabitants that live there can't leave the Feywilds because since it is, I mean, it's basically like a materialized dream world, dreamland. So these creatures and everything, they're not really real. So if they left the Feywilds, they would lose that connection and just kind of fade out and die. But what I have done is that's where the kind of the dark side of the Feywilds comes in. Maybe a powerful kind of dark Fey will seek out the light side ones and be like, "Oh yes, I've noticed you love the outside world. Would you like to see it?" And then of course they backstab them in some way, but they do gain the freedom to venture out into the world. And then other outside forces as well, maybe a demon grants one of them the power to leave in exchange for something. Eldritch beings in the same regard. Let's see. Ooh, maybe, yeah, I should. Let's pick a creature and maybe I can revamp it in a way. Or, make an addition to it. I say I need to get a mouse, which I did. I literally ordered one and it's at home, but I did not bring it. But I should start using a mouse because my little touchpad on my laptop ain't the best no more. My fat, greasy fingers have ruined it. Ooh, Pan's Labyrinth. I did not like that movie. I did enjoy the the Fey Feast scene because Eyeball Handman was, I mean, that's just a great design and concept, and but just as a movie as a whole, it seemed like everybody was kind of losing their minds about it, and yeah, it's fine. But yeah, definitely enjoyed the special effects, the practical effects. Um, just pick one at random, Jojo. There we go. All right. The Mean Lock. Kind of a tan, kind of a light tan insectoid, humanoid kind of creature. Big pincers, little pincers. Mean locks are fey that invoke terror and seek to destroy all that is good. Let's see, these bipeds have heads and claws of crustaceans. Okay. I said insectoid, but kind of that carapace thing. It's along the same lines. as like crustacean. Mm-hmm. They are spawned by fear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, if multiple meanlocks are born in kind of one area, a lair is also magically formed. Ah, they can telepathically torment people. Okay. Yeah, they do have like these yeah, they got the little kind of horned antennas. It also kind of looks like they got these little like uh buggy whisker things going on. Let's look at their stat block. Oh, they're small. I figured that would have been a medium creature, but yeah, small works too. Okay, yep, they can instill fear. They got light sensitivity, shadow teleport. Ooh, okay, okay. To kind of revamp these guys a little bit, let's say, because just that they're spawned by fear, that's good, but it almost seems too simple. Kind of like the other one, the Boggle, how it was like spawned out of loneliness, which it is the Feywild, and emotions are much stronger there. So I mean, I get it, but I want something with a little bit more substance to it. So since the mean lock is spawned by fear, what if it instead is they're spawned by the death of somebody who was having such a nightmare that the fear they were having, you know, that killed them, you know, gave them a heart attack in their sleep or, you know, something like that. Basically dream a dream death that, you know, kind of captures the person having the nightmare and turning them into these mean locks. And it mentions the telepathy. Ah, yes, manifested by fear that kills. Since they do have like those little whisker antennas and having the telepathy, what if instead of just how they can instill fear into people, maybe they can cast a form of sleep, but instead of it just putting the player or whatever to sleep, it puts them into like a comatose nightmare. That would be good. Or even just put them into a trance because, you know, mean lock's gotta eat. So, hey buddy, why don't you follow me this way? I'm friend. Leads person into pack of mean locks, and then, you know, they just get ripped to shreds. Oh, also, I like to mention this every time, just in case the microphones were to pick it up or whatnot. Tonight's a disturbed night. I just really want to get down with the sickness, you know? So yeah, that's who I'm listening to as my soothing background music. Have I seen them in concert? I know they've been to Louder Than Life before. But I would like to see Disturbed in concert. Preferably like a just them kind of concert thing, not like Louder Than Life where there's, the 80 different bands in one day. Which, man, has that event like taken off now? It's like a 4-day thing, which is crazy. The lineup for the past couple years has been it's been like right at the cusp of like, okay, that'd be fun to go to, but hasn't quite crossed that threshold these past couple times. Anything else I can do for you, Mr. Meanlock? Revamping, enhancing. Fear. Yeah. I mean, just their whole thing about instilling fear. Maybe they can project like I think it's major illusion that that you have to roll to see if you can see past the illusion of it. Because I think minor illusion, it's just like a little thing, and you're like, oh yeah, that's fake, but cool. Died in their sleep. Ooh, that's good. Now, on one hand, you could just have the mean locks just be a evil fear entity that exists in the wilds, but they do have like this kind of level of intelligence to them. So what if the whole part of a mean lock is, they kind of as a collective unit, they have struck a deal with the unsealed court, the dark side, and since in this version they are people that got converted over, maybe it's something like, oh yeah, if we can lure X amount of people to the dark side of the Fae, uh, you know, can you restore me back so I can, I can live again and be out of this living nightmare? Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Meanlock. I think we'll press onwards now. Yeah, I mean, sprites, pixies. It's kind of only so much you can do with them, and they're fine. Actually, yeah, let's look at Darklings real quick. What Now, do you both have the same kind of lore? Of course not. So, of course, we have different variants on Darklings. Let's see. Okay. The Summer Queen's curse causes a Darkling's body to absorb light, which wisens the creature, much like the effect of rapid aging. Okay, so they cover their bodies to avoid light exposure. Oh, huh. The light Darklings absorb over the course of their lives explodes outwards when they die. Hmm. I don't think I did not know that. Oh yeah, under their stat block, Death Flash. Yeah, when the Darkling dies, big bada boom. Let's see. Ancient legends speak of a Seelie Fae who betrayed the Summer Queen. In her wrath, she cursed every member of his house. Blah, blah, blah. Ah, okay. So yes, this cursed family household became the first Darklings. Anything else I should know, Mr. Darkling? Despite their curse, Darklings retain a fondness for the beauty of art. That makes sense. Because if this. It sounded like this family that got cursed was kind of a. Has the feeling of like a higher upper crust society kind of thing, which would interact with, the Summer Queen and the Seelie courts and all that. And yeah, so there's Darklings and then there's Elder Darklings. What makes the Elder ones elder? Okay, a wise and respected Darkling can qualify to undergo a ritual to become an elder. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, basically, other elders perform a ritual on the Darkling to kind of pull a lot of the light out of them. And if it succeeds, then it makes their body taller, all that good stuff. Well, Darklings, what can we do to spice you up? Give you a little revamp. So you're basically dark goblins. You betrayed the queen. We'll say that you're the classic Fey kind of goblin route to increase their numbers. They go out and steal small children's to convert over, leaving behind a imposter baby. To try not raise suspicions as if too much trouble comes their way, the humans would or whoever would seek them out and try to exterminate them. Hmm. They absorb the light. Yeah, doesn't have it on their stat block here. What if they had a maneuver, like a special ability that they, maybe it costs their action, but they absorb all light in, I don't know, we'll say 100-foot radius. So whatever room they're in, if there's candles on the wall, maybe the wizard has the light spell conjured or something, the darklings could basically trigger their light absorption and just all of that, putting the party in the complete darkness. And then, of course, adding more explosive power to their death. Yeah. That's pretty good. I really don't know what else I could do to revamp you. Yeah, one thing about the new job is I am now on my feet basically the entire time. And where I feel it most is in the upper back, like, kind of between the shoulder blades. I try to change it up because I basically stand at a counter and do my task the entire day. So I'm kind of hunched over a lot. I need to look up some stretches to do while I'm there. I know some already, but wouldn't hurt to have a few more tricks up my sleeve. Because, yeah, really, my feet and legs are fine. Steeds. Who do we want to tackle next? We got those two creatures. Actually, yeah, do a quick little skim through of all the creatures in here. We're gonna make us a fae. Maybe even make us a couple. Oh yeah, hags are considered fae. Okay. Yeah, I kind of get the gist of who all is in the fae list over here. So for the hags, I already got a good one for that. I kind of made this one up a long while back. I'm trying to remember what spurred it. But, oh, yeah. So hags are kind of like your, I don't know, your standard witch character, And seems like in a lot of tales, witches are, kind of obsessed with beauty, being young again, that sort of thing. So I made a hag called the Glamour Hag. And what they would do is, like a normal hag, they would try to lure people into their house or wherever, and then the glamour hag would harvest, not everything, but just certain aspects of a person. Maybe they'd be like, oh, hey, oh, what beautiful crystal blue eyes you have. And then they would, lure that person in, pluck those eyeballs out, plop them into their own head. Or, it could be, maybe an elf comes and visits. And so she would be like, oh, yes, you know, your flesh on your forearm is so exquisite. So then she would harvest that off and kind of attach it on. And of course, having magic, you could uh, describe them in multiple ways. It could be that, oh, yes, you see this kind of Frankenstein flesh wearing glamour hag where they just have a suit just, made of skin or something. Or, maybe they use magic to adhere the new body parts to themselves. Because, the whole thing is beauty, glamour. They want to look the best, but in doing so, they're actually quite the horrific Frankenstein, styled monster. Okay. Let's make us another Fae. So, yeah, that one was definitely more on the, evil side, being a hag. Fae. What kind of creature could we make? What's one that hasn't been done, which, I mean, the possibilities are quite endless, but I am so not a artsy person to design and come up with this. So we got the Sunflower Knight. We basically have flower people. Animals are, kind of a big part of the Feywild. Especially like combo creatures. A little squirrel rat with a unicorn horn. An animal creature. What if we did... So a lot of them seem to be, pranksters, tricksters, that sort of thing. But, the Feywilds are going to need guardians of some sort, officers, guardsmen to kind of patrol around. Because I can't imagine the Seelie Court is too happy with the Unseelie Court in the Dark Wilds. So, what if we had a... what do we want to call it? Oh, that's good. Yeah, let's have... There's the Armarilla, a gorilla armadillo hybrid that kind of patrols the wilds. Yeah, oh my gosh, a gorilla that has kind of little patches of the armadillo hide and shell, and then the gorilla can roll up on itself like the armadillo. Oh, that's cool. That's a good one. Ugh. Man, that'd be a fight. Cause yeah, especially being like having that gorilla side with the armor on from the armadillo. Gorillas are freaking strong. Yeah, do we want to try to make another animal or just fey creature? Let's move up the list a little bit. See what other fey creatures we got in here. Hmm. Oh yeah. As far as like making a fey creature, yeah, you could just have, I mean, a being made out of light, and then maybe one made out of shadow for the dark wilds. Ooh, yeah. Let me tell you about another one of my favorite fey creatures. Uh, it goes by the yarn spinner. So there's this, you know, gargantuan, huge sized spider in the Fey Wilds called the yarn spinner. And if you if you get lost or whatnot, it will project an image of itself to you to guide you for its own safety so that it doesn't get killed. But then if you follow it, I guess, back to its lair, it will offer like, oh yeah, you need a place to stay. Well, let me spin you a little shack to stay in, and then you know that's gonna put the players on edge. Like, oh yeah, are we sure we want to get into this hut made out of spider web from this giant spider? But then the whole thing is the yarn spinner just loves reading storybooks to people. And the art from the book itself is pretty adorable. You can see it like you see this Feywildsy foresty scene. There's the giant spider holding a book, and there's a little sampling of forest critters before it, like a fox, looks like some mice, a skunk, and they're all like just sitting around listening in. Mm, hmm. Yeah, there's the Eladrin, the seasonal elves. Hmm. Could I revamp them in a way? Or make maybe something more of like a cousin race for them. I was kind of thinking, just a very quick thought of, okay, so we have these seasonal elves. You're in the Feywilds, which is basically a dreamland. What if there were the dream elves in which they took um almost almost like a changeling? They would have varying appearance, but it would be like it would be uncontrolled because changelings, you know, they have like a control over what they shift into, but this would be uncontrolled, so they just have this montage mashup of appearances, you know, pulling from different dreams of people and smushing them together into one. Oh yeah, I forgot about this creature. Isn't there a weaker version? Is it this one? Okay, it's not this one. Maybe it was, oh yeah, it's this one. So, so this is pretty wild. So, to go back to hags real quick, it's a CR2 creature. So, you know, real low party level kind of stuff. There's the sea hag, and this CR2 monster has the ability to insta kill you. So yeah, the hag targets one frightened creature, so it does have to get you afraid, which at level 2 is gonna be, I mean, relatively easy. Okay, there we go. The chair was like starting to lean way too far back. So yeah, it does have to get you frightened first. But then it can target you, and if you fail the DC, yeah, a wisdom save, you drop to 0 hit points. The DC is 11, so it's, I mean, it's on the lower side, but also so are you as a player. That's just wild to give such a strong ability to such a low level creature. Yep, there's the red cap. Leprechauns? Can I do anything with leprechauns? Nothing right off the bat. Maybe over time I'll think of something. And yeah, dryads, they're basically tree people, plant people. I kind of went over that already. What time is it? 9:15? Yeah. I was gonna go to 9:30, but I kind of have covered everything, and I could try to convert some other creatures here, but it'd be more of the same. So I think what I'm going to do is start my send off. Thank you all for joining me on this fine evening. I hope you enjoyed this short stream as much as I did. Had fun learning about some of the creatures and the Feywilds itself. I hope some of the concepts that I came up with kind of help inspire you to make things on your own, and feel free to use the things that I spoke of. Let's see. What's there to talk about? So yes, once again, we are the Wayward Inquisition, a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, as you might be well aware at this point. We have plenty of VODs on YouTube here to watch. We also have them on Spotify and Apple Podcast if you're more that audio only kind of person. We got Western, we have sci-fi, which includes Star Wars, as well as a Halo-inspired TTRPG, Arc Outer Rift. That was a lot of fun. One, Patrick was the one that led it, and it was so much fun to play under Patrick's DMing, and yeah, just to convert a first-person shooter to the tabletop. I mean, he did it pretty darn well. But if sci-fi and westerns aren't your thing, we also got dark fantasy in there for you. If you feel, if you're feeling frisky, we do have a PayPal that you can send us money to. It would be much appreciated. If you would like a little bit more for your dollar, we do have a Redbubble, which is a pretty awesome website that you can upload your art onto, and then they will print it on anything. Comforters, shower curtains, backpacks, coasters, stickers. And for the customness of it, of course, some things are going to be pricier than others, like the shower curtains, because it's got to be massive. But the prices are really good. The quality's insane, and it ships really quick. So yeah, be sure to check out our Redbubble. We also have a Discord, which is a pretty hoppin' place. I highly recommend you stop in, say hi to everybody. You can indeed get a Wayward Inquisition comforter. I'm not sure, because it's when you upload the stuff, like Courtney handled all of that, because she is our artiste and she's freaking phenomenal. But when you upload the stuff, you can kind of select what things you want it to be on and what not. But I'm pretty sure some of the things were You could get like a blanket or a comforter, something like that. Uh, Hoodies, t-shirts. I mean, just you don't have to buy anything, but just peruse our Redbubble just so you can see the madness that is there and how this company does it is I don't know, but kudos to them. They're not a sponsor. I think they even have exclusively stated that they will never sponsor anybody, but that won't stop us from giving them praise because boy, are they cool. Redbubble. Oh, yeah, we're getting closer. Let me make sure I got my dates right here. We are nearing the end of April. Yes, next month, May 3rd, it's a Sunday, we will be alive and in person at the E-Town Anime Fest. Be sure to stop in, say hi, check out the other vendors, come see us. We can talk a D&D with you. And yeah, we'll just have a real good time. The doing the conventions has been a really big blessing for us because lately it seems like each time we do one, we just get this other little connection to work with. So we got that. We haven't gotten confirmation yet, but theoretically, we're gonna be at the Eminence, Kentucky Ren Fair, which runs from like the end of May to I want to say like the end of June. I mean, it runs a long time, basically all summer break. And we had met one of the vendors for it at the Magical Midwinter Market, and she runs one shots there, but it's hard for her to do that and run her shop at the same time. So she was asking us to run the one shots. And so hopefully that still pans out because that'd be a lot of fun. Especially playing with like Ren Fair people where at conventions like Comic Cons, Anime Fests, you'll get people in costume and cosplay, but a lot of people that come through are kind of me, your average Joes. But at the Ren fairs I've been to, there's a noticeable increase in people that dress up. So that would just really make running those one shots even funner. And yeah, you can follow this all along in our Discord, which reminds me, Robert asked about like an event calendar in the Discord. I'll have to see how you would do that. Like, I know I could make a little channel for it, and that might be the only really way to go about it, but I'll look into that later. I'm not the most Discord savvy person, but I'm capable. And yeah, be sure to check out Potteration. It's a kind of online collaboration of like small time indie people such as ourselves, and they can upload our stuff is on there as well. You can get it all ad free for it's like $4 a month. It's almost similar to. Oh man, I see the advertisements for it all the time. Like, is it Share Space? Something like that. It's just one of these other, basically content creator pages that is just pretty cool. There's another D&D group on there called Malt and Magic, UK based D&D podcast, so it's awesome because you get these players with just wonderful, authentic British accents. So yeah, we're aligned with Potteration. Here in Sellersburg, Indiana, there's GeekOut Cafe, which is a pretty awesome place. Wonderful coffees, snacks, just a wonderful nerd space. They do Warhammer tournaments, Magic. We host some D&D stuff there. So if you're in the neighborhood, check out Geek Out Cafe. But yeah, before I ramble on anymore and longer and bore you to the point that you die of fear inside of a nightmare and become a mean lock, once again, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out the Wayward Inquisition. We got more on the way for you. Oh, I just noticed that I am fuzzy looking. Wonder if it's just my laptop. Anywho, have a wonderful night. Have an awesome weekend, because it's basically tomorrow. And remember that freedom always crits. And go to church. Bye!